Hi everyone, Petra here with Petra's Creative Plans. Today we're going to do a quick first impression review and unboxing of these Ohuhu Nihau markers. Okay, so let's take a look at these markers. These are water-based markers. They are by Ohuhu, and this series are the Nihau series. So I was lucky enough to get these for Christmas, and so we'll take a quick look at them here in this video. We will compare them with the Tombos. And as you can see, these come in really cute packaging. They're a nice sturdy container, so you can definitely store these in here. When I'm not using these, I do store them laying on their side. So you can see that on the barrel it says Ohuhu. There is the name of the color as well as a number and letter color system, very much like what Copic uses. It is in silver, so it's a little bit hard to see on the camera. So here, when I compare it with a Tombow, they're pretty comparable in size. The Ohuhus are slightly shorter. They do have a bullet tip, and I actually really like that the bullet tips on the Ohuhus come to more of a point and they're not as rounded. Other than that, they feel very much the same as the Tombow when you write with them. There's great color saturation as well. So then if we move on to the bullet or brush, not the bullet, the brush nib side of these, we'll do a quick comparison here. They are very similar in size. There is slight differences in the shape. The Ohuhus are a little bit more pointed and a little bit wider at the base. Other than that, they look very similar. So here's the Tombow, so you can see the variation you can get in line thickness as well as the saturation of color with the ink flow. As expected, very good for a Tombow. And then with the Ohuhus, it is comparable. I actually find the brush tip on the Ohuhu is a little bit firmer than the Tombow, which makes it easier to control. So I really like that. And so we're going to try doing some color blending here. Now the colors won't be exact, but I'll take 3 shades of blue for both and we'll see what we can do. This paper I'm using is a marker paper. Now price point, these Ohuhus come in sets of 24. There's the light, mid-tone, and saturated tones, and you can get these on Amazon. And I would say price-wise, anywhere, I've seen them as low as $16 per set up to $25 or $30 per set, just depending on the sales. So working with the Tombows here for the blending, this lightest color was definitely too light. And like I said, this is marker paper. It's not the best for blending, but you can still get it to blend out. It's hard to see here on the camera, but it's not too bad. That light blue was definitely too light though. So then we will try the same thing here with the Ohuhus, and I find that they are definitely comparable as far as the blending and how easy it is to blend. They work very much the same as the Tombows, and you can get a pretty decent blend with these. Keep in mind these are water-based, so they're not an alcohol-based marker. They're not going to be as seamless as you will get with an alcohol-based ink, but these also will not bleed through. And so now we're going to try touching the tips of the dark marker to the lighter one with the Tombows here, and to get a nice gradient and a faded effect that way. It does work well. You can use this when you're doing your coloring to add some shading and shadows. It works quite lovely with the Tombows. We'll go ahead and try these with the Ohuhus, and the result with the Ohuhus is very much right on par with the Tombows. I think these are definitely comparable. They're definitely a more affordable option, and I do find with the Ohuhu Nihau series there's a lot more lighter or pastel colors available, which is what I really like about them, because when I use these in my bullet journaling and so forth, I really want the softer shades so that I can easily write over them and combine them with some other techniques and styles. I'm just putting the other markers away here, and I'm going to grab some watercolor paper, and then we can test these out with a watercolor or a brush pen here. I do kind of play around with it on this marker paper a bit, but this marker paper is really not great for doing watercolor types, so we will test it out here, and then I will move on to some actual watercolor paper, and you will see the difference that the correct paper makes when using these markers, both with the tombos and the ohuhus. Okay, so here we are with the actual watercolor paper, and you'll see that it makes all the difference when you're using these as a watercolor medium. The blends that you get with the tombos are fantastic, it's seamless, and it's easy to do. And then when we come in with the ohuhu, it's very much the same. It is easy, it's seamless, they blend out beautifully, and they work very well as a watercolor. So here I'm happy with the results of both of these markers. If you're looking for something more affordable, these Ohuhu Nihau series are definitely comparable. I am not a fan of the other water-based markers that are made by Ohuhu. They come in like a round cardboard box type packaging, and you get I think 100 for like $20. And I've had those and I have not kept them. The brush tips are not great, they don't last, they fray, some are thick, some are thin, and then they've got their fine liner, that really small, I think like 0.38 fine liner tip on them. I'm not a fan of those at all, but these ones by Ohuhu are fabulous. They've really stepped up their game with these sets. So now I'm just playing around here with some of this blending, using a bit of a darker shade with that lighter blue, just to see what I can do, playing around a little bit with them and having some fun. So I've just finished using the watercolor or the water paintbrush to blend two colors, and here's another technique. So here's a plastic sheet that comes with each of these sets that you can put under your page to prevent any bleed through. I haven't had any issues with these bleeding through, but you can also use it as a palette, so you can draw right on there with these ohuhus and then pick it up with your paintbrush off that palette and use that to blend in. And here I just wanted to see how this would work. I'm trying to blend in this red in with the blues, and it actually isn't too bad. They're not necessarily the right shades to blend together, but I just wanted to see, you know, how that would work. And you can actually get a pretty decent blend. So I'm looking forward to playing with these a bit more and having a little bit more fun and experimentation with them. Alright, let's get down to some swatching. I've created a swatch card here, and I'm using a piece of my bullet journal paper because I want to see how these colors will look on my bullet journal pages. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to swatch these. I've already written down the number on the markers as well as the name. And I'm going to go ahead, and these squares, I will fill them in halfway using the brush tip. And then I'm going to go back over the bottom portion of that a second time so that you can see the color with one pass versus two passes. And then I'm going to just draw a little line here using the bullet tip so that we can see how the colors are. Keep in mind, a lot of these shades are very pale and soft. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward the swatching just because that'll take quite a bit of time, but I also wanted you to be able to see the range of colors. And I have organized these based on the color naming, so there's a B for blue or a G for green, and then the number, and the number increases as the color becomes darker and more vibrant. Alright, and now as we're done the swatching, let's take a closer look at these colors that you get. The range is fantastic. I absolutely love these. So as you can see, each color really works as two, because when you go over a second time, it really does darken that color quite a bit. And none of these markers are dried out, none of them are frayed. I had no issues with them. I love all the soft shades. They're perfect for using in my journals. And then these are also great for doing other artwork with. So as I said, I've arranged them here based on their colors, and so I have mixed all three sets, but I prefer to have them organized this way versus keeping them how they came. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this quick little first glance at these markers. I definitely love these. I've played around with them a little bit more, and I would definitely recommend these. They're a great affordable option. As always, thanks for joining me. Bye!